Sawadee krap. It doesn't rain, it pours, you know. They're going to wish they never had this social media by the time I've finished. People are already wishing that, I think. Anyway, I'd like to show you this little spiel is about the practice of wisdom, okay? So here's some wisdom for you straight away. See this? I bought this the other day. Yeah. It's a teacup. It's a Chinese teacup. So you take the lid off, and you put a little bit of tea in there, and you add hot water, you know, and then very weak is to drink it. You know, one master recommends that you drink it very weak, and I agree with him. Whenever I drink strong tea, I get sick. So anyway, what you do, you smell it, appreciate the subtle flavour, and then you got to drink it like this, really, because it's hot, you know, like that or like that, you know. But it's very good for drinking Chinese tea. You know, I recommend them to you. This one cost me $3 here in Thailand. I think it's a lacquerware bowl. There's some wisdom for you. Now, tea, Chinese tea, is very good for cleaning the palate. So you enjoy your food more because every time you have a sip, it cleans the palate, so you're ready to appreciate some more food, you see. And also good for the digestion. And also it's a bit of a stimulus too, I think, you know, to give you more energy and stuff. No, it's good stuff. Okay, now the practice of wisdom. Okay, first of all, what is wisdom? Well, there's probably many definitions of it, but I would just define it as walking the path, you know, walking the path from the false self, the ego, to the true self, the true heart, you know. So after a little short time, you start to function through the true heart, you know, the true heart. So how do you know you're under the sway of the ego or under the true heart, or you're operating through the true heart? Well, when you're under the ego, you're selfish, you know what I mean? It's all about you, and it's all about what you want, you see what I mean? It's always, you know, and a sure sign is you think you're better than anyone else. That's a sure sign you're under the ego. Or you think you're worse than anyone else, you know. We're all even. There's no one any better or any worse. We're all even, you know. So, you know, now another sure sign is that you follow what everyone else says, you know. You think you're independent, but you're not. You're following just the hegemony of thought, you know. And then someone like me comes along and speaks the truth, and you think, oh, he's a bit of an oddball. He's a bit funny, that guy, you know. I mean, all I'm saying is the plain, simple truth, you know. Okay, so I was fortunate to be brought up in a staunch Irish Catholic family. I'm not talking about just my immediate family, the whole shebang, all staunch Irish Catholics. And we all believed 100% in what the church taught, you know. So we believed 100% in the teachings of Christ, you know. Love thy neighbour, do good to those that hate you, you know. Don't speak ill of another person. All these things, you know, the Good Samaritan, all those things had a profound influence, and we lived that way. We actually lived that way, you know. We were taught, it was reinforced to us, and we lived that way. And it was a great upbringing for myself. And later on, I become this is my main thrust in life, is being a seeker and trying to find out what the truth actually is, you know. So I always go to the library, and to find the truth, I look in the religion section, because you know, the profound teachings are there, you know, from ancient times, from the great masters that are putting down the words, right? So I go there, and then I'd be reading some scripture or something, but then it would mention something about myself, you know, say, that I couldn't keep, you know. I knew I wasn't strong enough to keep that precept, that I knew it was right, you know, but I put it on hold. I just went, oh, one day maybe I'll be able to live up to that. You know, I'll be strong enough to live up to that precept. I know it's correct, you know. So, quite some years later, I come across Qigong. I'll tell you, I was living in a house in South Australia. It was a big house. We were playing rugby league. There's 4 of us living in the back. I was in the garage. I had it set up like a gym, you know. I even had a little Chinese martial god of war there, you know, a little shrine. I got scared a few people away. Anyway, yeah, there was 4 of us living in the back flat. And in the front flat, there was a guy and his kid, you know, a good fella. And whenever we'd run across him, he'd always mention these remarkable Chinese exercises. And so one day I'm in the garage there, and I think I'd be ignorant if I didn't go and ask him, because he mentioned it a few times, you know. And I'm supposed to be interested in Chinese culture, being the Kung Fu and that. And so I went back, I went round to his door and knocked on the door, and he was very surprised, you know, when I inquired about these exercises, you know what I mean? He was very surprised. He was not expecting it, you know. And so what he did, he come and showed me what they were. He was feeling a bit guilty because he hadn't kept up the practice himself a little bit, you know, but he said, oh, you know, and he showed me. And then he gave me the book. It's a book called The Power of Qi, C-H'-I, by Jeff Pike, you see. So we were living near the Surf Lifesaving Club at West Beach, you know, beautiful West Beach. We had a flat very close to the Surf Life. So I used to walk down to the beach and do my Qigong on the beach, you know, rain, hail or shine, and I get under the protection of the surf club when it was too stormy. Anyway, what I loved about it was the effect it had on me. Not long. I've tried many things and they didn't work. None of them worked, you know. But this one, it worked. It worked in a week or 2, you know, and I was buzzing with this chi buzz, you see. And then, I've got to learn more of this stuff, you know. So, you know, what I do, I always look in the tiny little adverts. You know, if there's a great big one, a great big advertisement on, you know, anywhere, I don't like it. You know, something in me just rejects it, you know, because it's commercialism, you know. So I just found this tiny little, you know, couple of lines. It said something like Australian Institute of Qigong and the phone number, you see. And I saw this Qigong, you know. I thought, oh, Qigong. I wonder if that's Qigong, you know. So I rang the guy up. Turns out, yes, it is. And he was a master living in the hills of Adelaide. Yeah, and he was a good teacher, you know. So that's how I began my journey. And what Qigong does, it's a practice of wisdom, really. Really, that's paramount what it is, you know. It makes you strong, it improves the health, it makes you resistant to blows, gives you wisdom. And so this is, you can achieve what you want to achieve, you know, through this practice of it. Now, I'm advocated to many, many people all the time. I'm the Qigong evangelist. But they never take it on board. But why don't they take it on board? Because it's of Tao. And Tao is powerful, most powerful thing in the universe, and also the most subtle. So this subtlety is what eludes them. What eludes them, you see. In the Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, they have an expression about the nature of life. They call it our existence. They call it the Leela of the Lord, the play of the Lord. So you view God as the universal mind. He's watching you. And he's seeing how you react to these little tests he's giving you, you know. Oh, you failed again, because the ego gets talking in your ear. Did you do this? Come on, mate, don't worry about that. Do this, do what you want to do. Always to indulge and always to lose our power. We're losing our power every time we indulge in wrong things. You know, we're losing our power all the time, then our life dissipates. So it's a most serious matter, actually. So you know, the qigong gives you the power. It gives you the strength to become the person who you should be. It becomes, and this is the only way to happiness, really. The only way to happiness is to become who you really should be. Okay. Thank you for listening. Tawadi ka.